All right, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, and today I'm here with a very special guest. I'm here with Russ Semenko. Russ, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, and thanks for taking the time to come on and have a conversation with me.
Of course, man. It's a pleasure. Like I was saying while we were talking one on one privately before, I've never actually been on a podcast, so this is kind of exciting. Hopefully, it's not the last. And yeah, happy to be here. Thanks again.
Yeah, of course, it's a pleasure to have you, and yeah, I have no doubt that this is not going to be the last podcast you're on. I know you're
Appreciate
gonna
it, man.
be on a bunch more and have a bright future ahead of you, but
Okay.
yeah, to just give the audience a little bit about Russ, really, really cool guy. He's actually a student right now in college, and also a college athlete where he plays soccer. He's a big into fitness and big kind of personal training passions and everything. So he does some social media and fitness related content creation as well. And then also he is a business owner and entrepreneur. So that's a little bit about Russ. But do you mind kind of giving us a little more about your background and what you do these days?
Yeah, for sure. You actually got that spot on. That was actually pretty impressive. I was not expecting that, but yeah. So a bit of background, real quick. My name is Russ. Everyone calls me Russ. Is Ruslan. I'm actually born in Ukraine. Flew over here with my family and have been in New York ever since then. Have been playing soccer at the age of 4. Uh, since COVID hit, that's kind of where my fitness passions um, started rolling. I never really was into working out. So I was, stuck in my garage because of COVID and, results and all of that. And yeah, so now I'm kind of doing both soccer and bodybuilding, I guess.
Awesome. And that just automatically brings up the question of like I feel like a lot of people say that it's hard to bodybuild and play soccer at the same time just because of
Absolutely.
how much you're running and everything. Like, have you had any struggles with gaining muscle or anything while also being on like the workout schedule that you have for soccer?
You see, I'd say definitely, and that's actually interesting you bring that up because I have a few friends that probably have the struggle more than me.
Okay.
Friends, because for some reason my metabolism isn't as high as you'd expect for a soccer player. Maybe I'm just not running enough, but my metabolism isn't insane, and I have no trouble eating at all. So when you're talking about putting on weight for bodybuilding and such, I don't have that much trouble. However, again, when I'm in season for soccer, definitely you got to eat a little more and to keep the energy, keep the fuel and everything, because definitely bodybuilding and stuff at the same time is not optimal. You're coming home
Yeah.
from practice, you got something, get some sort of energy. I don't know, get some energy drink. I have like 12 of them right next to me. Bought them yesterday. And it's not the same. It's not the same as to focus directly on just lifting,
Right.
because when you're so focused on your passion that you have been playing soccer with my passion, which I've been playing for 10 years, 10 plus years, and you're on that, and just to then split it between a new
Mm-hmm.
pound, it's a little difficult. Sometimes you gotta choose priority between the two, and when you're dedicated to the sport, when you're playing college soccer where you have no choice but to play, which isn't necessarily a problem, but when you want to lift and play soccer, it could get a little difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like it's just kind of like a balancing act. You have to find
For
the
sure.
time and the best way to optimize both your performance on the field. I mean, that's what you're I mean, like you're at school to learn too, but you're at school to play soccer,
Right.
but also like balance that with that passion that you developed for bodybuilding.
Hmm. Exactly.
Definitely. So, you mentioned you've been playing soccer all your life. What got you into soccer?
So when you're Eastern European, it's almost in your genetics to play soccer, man.
Okay.
Like pretty much, I'm from Ukraine, and everyone there plays soccer. Pretty much everyone. The reason I started is probably because my dad played soccer from a young age, played in
Okay.
college, so and so back in Ukraine. And when we came over here, that was, the the most obvious choice when signing me up for a sport. And because all my other friends that are Ukrainian, because my closest friends in the United States right now are actually all similar paths to me, born in Ukraine or born here. Parents are immigrants from Ukraine.
Hmm.
They all also same exact thing. All signed up for soccer clubs, such and such, and we all been growing up playing soccer together ever since. So that's the
Okay.
reason. started, and I am very thankful that's the sport I chose. And nothing against other sports, I
Right.
just feel it was the best choice. I do feel obviously there is some sort of bias, but I do think soccer is the best sport on earth.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. And, before we dive deeper into the conversation, if you don't mind, I do want to ask, since you are from Ukraine, like, if you have family still in Ukraine or friends, is everyone okay? Is
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah. I appreciate it, man. I do get that a lot nowadays. When the whole war started,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, I could actually bring this up because a lot of people actually don't know this, aren't informed on this. In the United States, the war with Ukraine didn't actually start between Ukraine and Russia. Didn't actually start this past year. It's been going on for years and years.
Oh, okay.
And so the only difference now is that Putin kind of announced that he wants to actually attack Ukraine and then, start taking over territories and such and such. So territorially, yes, there's a bit of a difference now. Back like a few years back, Russia still took over a big territory of Ukraine, Crimea, which is on the very south edge of Ukraine,
Right.
right above the Black Sea. But that wasn't talked about enough as compared to now. Now everyone, it's always in the news. You see that, which is always a great thing to see. And but that the media inform people of how this war has been going on, not just in the past year, for a while back,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Yeah. And you were
It
asking if
does.
my family, all right. Yeah, my
Yeah.
family's more on the western side of Ukraine. That's where actually I was born. Ternopil is the town, is the city name.
Okay.
And yeah, they're fine for now. God forbid anything happens, they're gonna try to go as possible.
Yeah.
As of now, everyone there is fine. I do hear stories from friends and family of people that are in a bit of trouble and such, but
Mm.
it's tough. It's definitely tough, but uh,
Yeah.
it's always great to hear the support. Of course, the social media can bend things, rumors and all of that. But the best thing is people that I've grown up with or people that, like I've known for a long time reach out after not talking to me for a while and ask me how my family's doing. It's heartwarming, it's wholesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, and thank you for the educational piece on, the war,
Of course.
that's been going on for longer than a lot of people, including myself, just to be fully transparent, knew that it
Yeah,
was
no,
going
for
on.
sure.
So
No, I understand.
appreciate that, and just my thoughts and prayers go out to your family and friends who
Thank
may be impacted, and just the country in general. Definitely, it's just terrible to hear about, and just learning now in the moment that it's been going on for a lot longer than a year.
you.
Just it's devastating to hear about. So just, I'll be thinking about, all your loved ones, man. And I'm always here to support you.
Appreciate it, Zach. Thank you.
Of course, of course. But yeah, so when you moved to the US, when was that? Like how long ago was that?
So I wasn't even a year old. I think I was 10 months
Okay.
old when I moved here. My dad won the green card, so basically in Ukraine, they do kind of like a lottery system for immigrants. So therefore, if you win the green card, you're able to move to the United States. And my
Okay.
dad won that basically. My mom was kind of freaking out because she thought that the family was going to grow and live in Ukraine as have her parents and
Mm-hmm.
grandparents and such and such. So you could only imagine having a kid, the kid's not even a year old, and then your husband comes home and be like, hey, I just won the lottery, we're moving to the
Yeah.
United States. Like I could only imagine what was going through my mom's mind and my dad's mind as well. So yeah, we moved over here. Neither of them knew the English language at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely difficult in the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, so ever since then, I always preach this, but knowing that my parents pretty much came from nothing. Of course, in Ukraine they had money, but like having money in Ukraine is not the same as having money in the United States. I'm sure most people would get that.
Right.
So when they moved here, not knowing the language, not having anything except for hopefully some Ukrainians they met along the way to translate and such, to just grow and get jobs and just work so hard to then give me what I have today, I feel like I have an obligation, and there's no, like, I have to work hard. You know what I mean? There's some people that just get everything handed to them and get spoiled and such. And I don't feel like I have any, I'm not deserved of that,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that it really speaks to your work ethic and just, being a college athlete, having your business, doing fitness and everything. Just like from what I've seen from the outside and the times that we have been connected, it really makes sense why you have that work ethic and that
Right.
drive, knowing that your parents, experienced what they did and worked so hard to get you to where you're at, but also worked hard to get themselves where they're at.
Yeah, like there are some days that I will be lazy, and I will tell you I'm
Sure.
one of the laziest people you know, but just always in the back of my mind, like, damn, like I could be doing something. Like, not even from a I'm a disappointment standpoint, just knowing that like I should be working hard if I want to get my dreams going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's a good transition. You said, you should be working hard to get your dreams going. So, like, Russ, what are your current dreams right now? Like, what's the goals or what are you chasing after?
That's a great question, and honestly, I'd be asking that question to myself every other day, every week,
Yeah.
because there's so much going on right now. Again, I found a passion for fitness. I love soccer, and I'm a business owner. And I know like how to do finances and business and such. My dream right now, if I were to pinpoint one thing, which can literally change next week,
Mhm.
is possibly start some sort of soccer club,
Okay.
start a personal training business, which is one of my plans, which looks like a very realistic plan from the time being, and see where that goes from, because where that goes to. I mean, because I don't think I will be satisfied after achieving those two goals, and I have to find a goal that's bigger, for sure.
Yeah, I love those, and, um, you mentioned having a soccer club. Do you have any goals or dreams of taking your own soccer career to the next level?
See, so with my soccer, let's say skills right now, I
Mhm.
always when I've been playing club soccer, high school soccer, I definitely had that in the back of my mind. Like, what if I go pro? What if I go pro? Like every kid that plays a sport in
Mhm.
those ages will always have those dreams of becoming pro. And I'm not gonna lie, I could still have those dreams, 100%. And I'm not saying anyone who is my age and not playing pro yet shouldn't have those dreams. However, looking from a realistic standpoint, I am now going to a business college in New York City. I have found another passion. I do love playing soccer. However, I am playing at the level that is definitely not near professional yet. Division 3 in New York City is unfortunately not necessary to play a professional. However, that
Sure.
would be a dream. That would be. I was just thinking about that while I was actually walking my car to record this podcast. I was thinking about how if I had to one job that I would seriously enjoy, like my dream job, it would be being a soccer player. However, it didn't happen, and necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many other passions that you could go down, and 5, 10 years down the line from now, and I could my life completely flip around. I could look back and be, how the hell did I want to be a soccer player?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's great perspective, and I mean, I'm not too familiar with, the sport of soccer in general, but also
Mhm.
just kind of like the path, so I'm not sure if this is maybe inaccurate, but I'd like to think, playing devil's advocate a little bit, like, who knows, man? Like, you're still in your college career, maybe,
True.
you have one incredible season or the next few seasons are incredible and, you get, that opportunity to chase after the pro dream, so I definitely know that with your work ethic, if it's really in the cards, you can make it happen. But at the same time, like I totally have a lot of respect for you having like the awareness to say like, hey, like it was a dream. It still might be a dream at times, but I also want to explore other passions because like I want to be realistic with myself and know like here's other things to put my time and energy into as well.
Exactly. And I feel like you learn to think that way as you mature. If
Hmm.
I was 15 and you asked me when I was 15 and when we were filming this podcast, you asked me, oh, what's your dream? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be a soccer player. There's no other option.
Yeah.
As you grow and you see other options and you go to college and you see now you want to do the gym. Now COVID hit and you're like, damn, like I can't just focus on one thing.
Right.
And when that one thing is a soccer player and you look at how they live in the United States, how much they're making, how they're never with their family because they're traveling and such. You find downsides which you never
Hmm.
really thought of when you're 15 because you're always sugarcoating the dream life.
Yeah. Exactly. I think we've all been in that position where, when we're younger, we're thinking everything is great, whether it's a job, a college, a place to live, whatever. You think it's like this amazing place, and then as you get older, you start to see like it still might be really cool, but like it's not all perfect, right? There's
Exactly.
downsides, like you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. So you mentioned being a business owner as well, having your own business. How'd you get into business and just learning about it? Was that all self-taught, or did you learn that from like family or mentors, or how'd that get started?
Sure. So, um, the way I actually started learning business is it was just like in a snap. Like it was one day I had nothing to do with business, and the next day I was a young entrepreneur or something like that.
Yeah.
I believe I was 14. If we look back at when my store was started, I think I was 14, which is still kind of like, that's still kind of crazy that I started a website at 14.
Yeah.
However, at 14, I think what I was doing is literally going on YouTube because I knew a bunch of my friends were looking to get jobs and such. And I hate the idea of a 9 to 5, even though at 14, I feel like that's the least of my worries. But
Right.
14, I was like, geez, like I really do not want to do that. So I looked up on YouTube how to make money as a teenager, and the idea of drop shipping came up. So
Okay.
just a quick explanation of what drop shipping is for the people that do not know. It's buying a product from from a country that is where the product is relatively cheap, advertising it, and then selling it for more on your own website. And then, therefore, you're basically the middleman. You don't have to carry any supplies, any storage, any of the products that you're selling. Because when people buy the product right off your website, you buy it off from your supplier from the other country and just ship it straight from the other country to their house. And so I was looking at that. I was like, whoa, that's actually freaking cool. However, I had my doubts. I'm 14 years old. Where am I getting the money from for advertising?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it can't be that easy. Not everyone is doing this. And you know that saying, like, if it was easy, everyone was doing it. Like,
Right.
there's gotta be obstacles. But that was probably the first time I dove into a risk that I'm very happy with. And honestly, I'm gonna say that's the first time I actually dove into a risk. Period.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, that was actually my first big risk, and I am very happy I did that because from that point forward, I used my business that I created to get into college. I put my website on my college applications. Adults started finding out that I have a personal business at 14. Who the hell has a business at 14?
Right.
And from a respect standpoint and from a maturing standpoint, I had to start learning how to advertise. Like, okay, damn, you want to make a business at 14? You have to learn what products work, how to advertise it, how to build a website, how to make the website appealing. Just so many things. Now looking back at other 14-year-olds and thinking about how, like, the average 14-year-old thinks,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any I don't think many 14-year-olds are thinking about how to create a website and advertise. So I was like, damn, like that is kind of absurd that I started that. And I'm very thankful for that because when I did start that and started advertising, so on and so forth, um, I did make some money. I lost some money through advertising. Honestly, I probably didn't even make that much profit back then just because of the sheer fact that I didn't know how to advertise, but I was learning, and
Yeah.
it was probably the best business learning experience I've ever had. No matter what, I've gone to school. I'm in school right now. That business that I made online and focused on myself and did on in my own spare time was the best experience I've ever done when it comes to maturing in the business world.
Man, I love hearing that, and I can totally say that, yeah, at 14, I wasn't really I was thinking about my future, but I wasn't, starting businesses or anything at 14, and I don't think many 14-year-olds are. So I think that, again, that just speaks to your work ethic and just your drive, and it's really awesome to hear, and I mean, I think that the best experiences in life are when we actually do the experience itself and when we make mistakes and fail and learn from those failures or those missed opportunities or whatever it might be. I mean, I in school, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's, so I've definitely spent a lot of
Right.
time in a classroom.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's not valuable, but like I think actually doing what you're learning or applying what you're learning can make a huge difference. So I love that that's something that you've done and you've kind of carried that into your college experience of like, you're learning about business, but you also have actual business experience that maybe not a lot of people in class with you might have.
Right. Agreed. And you bring up the thing where you're saying that if you're actually love what you do, you're probably going to do better at it.
Yeah.
100%. When you're focused on something and you actually want to get it done, you are so much more like the percentage of actually getting that done is much higher just because you
Right.
actually do it. And I feel like everyone knows that's obvious. But when you're sitting in a classroom, studying, uh, some subject that you have no interest in, you're most
Hmm.
likely not going to do well in that. And then like when you're like 18, 19, 20, you're probably sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing in this classroom? Just waiting for the clock to tick by. A different classroom where you're learning something that you enjoy. For example, today I was in my financial class and I was learning about stocks, which I love.
Yeah.
And you actually want to learn, and you're more inclined to study and do better in that class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will always preach, and I'll preach this to my kids. You have to do what you love, and of course, there is always a money aspect in this. You can't just I can't just start playing video games because that's what I love.
Hmm.
Look at it from a financial standpoint, see where that's going to get you. Because if I sit right now and start playing video games just for the rest of my life, just because I want to, knowing in the back of my head, my parents came here from nothing and gave me everything to this point, and the way I repay them is by not working hard. It can't be. Like, there's no other way to put it. It can't be.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have mad respect for you on that. And, Russ, something that I want to pick your brain on a bit is like, I think a lot of people might have good ideas or might want to do something like start a business or, do content creation or, do fitness, whatever.
Right.
They don't do it because they're scared, they're worried, they don't know how to do it. I mean, obviously, like you didn't know what to do when you were 14 to start a business, but you took it upon yourself to learn. What kind of advice do you have to someone who like has a good idea or wants to get started on something, but just like doesn't know how or feels like they can't or it's like not worth it?
Yeah. Do you mean this in a general aspect or in fitness?
General.
Yeah, for sure. I do feel a lot of people are afraid to take risks, especially at like a teenage age, because they might think they're too
Hmm.
young. I'm actually gonna fitness example when you're
Yeah.
afraid to make a fitness account because maybe you don't have the right physique, you don't got the right bench press PR, such and such. So you don't exactly want to do that because you're afraid of being embarrassed and stuff like that. And if you do it, if you actually take that risk, even if you're afraid, you work on that, you will be less embarrassed in the future if you think it that way. For example, you start talking to a girl. Of course, it's scary to talk to a girl the first time. You talk to girls more and more and more. Of course, you don't want to become a hoe, but the more you do it, the more the more confident you are in doing it. I don't know why
Yeah.
I picked that example of girls, but I hope you do understand that the
Yeah.
more you do take risks, the more confident you will be in taking them, and you won't be as worried, because a person that does not take risks will go nowhere in life because they can't go up, they can't progress. You know what I mean? So, um, now to backtrack, you were asking to give a message to people about like starting something that they might be afraid to. I
Yeah.
was extremely afraid to start a fitness page. I was very scared to start my fitness TikTok, I believe it was. Me and my best friend Sasha, we were talking about making um, fitness pages because we started going to the gym. This was like a year after COVID when we just
Okay.
started a whole fitness passion. And he started it first. He took the risk first. He started posting and everything. I believe on TikTok and on Instagram before me. And he would ask me like, "When are you gonna post? When are you gonna post?" And I would make the craziest excuses. Oh, I'll start posting once I hit this PR. Oh, I'm not
Mm.
ready yet. I get shredded. Once I get lean, I'll start posting so I actually look good. Meanwhile, I'm like 120 pounds and already skinny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like making the dumbest excuses just not to start. And once I did start, I realized how much more personality actually matters to social media and content creation than your actual physique. Of course, your physique and fit, because I know some people that are going to be watching this. Most of them are probably going to have something to do with fitness. I have a lot of teenagers that do watch my stuff. So, and a lot of people that probably are scared to post fitness content. You know what I mean? So, what I'm trying to say is it's probably scary. And honestly, you probably don't have the physique for it. However, you don't need the physique for it. You just need to be yourself and show that, look what I could do. Here's why I'm funny. Here's why my videos are interesting, and stuff that actually makes you entertaining. Because I'm sure most people, when they're scrolling on TikTok, would rather watch a video that's actually interesting and entertaining than just watch a video because the guy's bench pressing a lot of weight.
Right. Yeah, I think that's great advice, and I mean, no matter what it is, whether it's content creation, fitness, whatever, just having that personality and, like, just knowing that, like, you might not be the best, like, you might not be the best at something, you might not have the best physique, but that doesn't mean, like, you're not good enough for it, and it's still
Right,
probably gonna be scary, and I mean, even probably, like, just using the fitness example, probably people with, like, the best physique, like, I don't know, like a Chris Bumstead or something, like,
right,
I'm sure he's probably, like, he makes a post sometimes like, "Oh, man, like, I look terrible there," you know? I think that
right.
that's
Oh,
just
yeah,
part of
sure.
being kind of like a perfectionist and, like, being passionate about something, you always want to expect better of yourself.
Right. So, also like I could take a completely different example for
Yeah.
say, tennis. Maybe some kids have a passion for tennis, but they're not that good at it. But they want to start a social media page about it because they find it interesting, right?
Mhm.
Because you're not good at it doesn't mean you can't post tennis videos. You can't post tennis pictures. You could do so much stuff with social media regarding tennis. You could start posting news about tennis. You could start
Mhm.
posting funny videos about tennis using some trending sounds and such. Make relatable content. You don't have to just show your skill on how good you are at tennis if you're not that good at tennis.
Right.
All you have to do is just do something that's entertaining that people will watch. If you entertain people, they will come back.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm curious now, Russ,
Mm.
with starting your business and everything and learning about marketing and everything, did that has that helped you with your social media and content creation? Like, do you apply similar marketing strategies from your business to, like, promoting your own content?
Yeah, that's actually interesting because I don't really think about that. But learn about advertising for Sleep Supplies, my company, when I was younger. When posting these advertisements on Facebook or Instagram, I would use clickbait. Check out this product, check out this link. Oh, free shipping if you click on it within the next 5 minutes and such. And some of these marketing tactics that you learn, you can implement into your social media. You have to get hooks when you're posting TikToks. The seconds you want to make them as interesting as possible so people keep watching. So yeah, I would definitely say that starting the did somewhat help me with TikTok, which is interesting because now that I've never really thought about that.
Yeah, that's interesting because 'cause I'm sure, like, in your mind, it's probably all automatic, like, you're just like, "Yep, I know what to do, I'm gonna do this, this, and this," but, yeah, taking that step back and it's like, yeah, I just, like, hearing you talk and I was like, "I wonder if there is a connection there."
Yeah, that see that's those are two big risks I took. One taking of starting a social media about fitness, and the other starting my own business, and they were connected just
Yeah,
because just taking two big risks, and the benefits of one tied into the other.
yeah,
It's pretty.
definitely. You know, on the topic of taking risks, have you taken any risks that haven't worked out for you so far?
Um, you see, there's definitely some risks that I would say haven't worked out, but are in the process. For
Okay,
example, I am very close to becoming a personal trainer. Spent the money for the degree and such. Kind of had a little personal training in where I would go to the gym and watch personal trainer train clients and teach me how to advertise and such. That's kind of been at a standstill recently because of college soccer, work, and school. And I hope to to pick that back up right after the soccer season. So that is, I guess, a risk because I spent a bunch of my own money doing that,
yeah,
and it hasn't paid off yet. But that's again, it's at a standstill. Other risks, I can't think of too much. I mean, I've played plenty of sports just to try them out in the beginning.
mhm,
I quit a bunch of them, some of them because I was injured, but regardless, I would have probably stuck to only soccer. But there are definitely some risks that I can't think of off the top of my head that I've taken, and there are some that are extremely small. Like when I'm posting ticks, some videos don't blow up. Not every single video I'm posting is gonna have over 10K, 20K views. I have
Mhm.
some that if you go on it right now, some of my ticks like 200, 300 views. And the worst thing is to overthink that. I remember always look at that and be like, oh, maybe I didn't use the right hashtags, or maybe I didn't use the right trending sound and such. Sometimes that could be the reason. But if you seriously can't think of a reason, just keep posting, put your head down and keep working, because you took the risk. It's better to just keep working hard on it than to overthink it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice because I think like anytime I think of someone trying to get started on something or even myself, starting with a podcast and everything, it's like you might not get engagement right away. You might like for me, I might not have many people listen, the first ever upload and for you maybe like a TikTok you post, you might only get 100 likes or 100
Right.
views or something. But it's like just keep going and keep building and being consistent and you're gonna build that following or that audience or that engagement as you go on. Like, I mean, TikTok might be a little different with like maybe that viral success, but I feel like a lot of people they don't see the crazy numbers or success like overnight. Like it build up.
For sure. See, like I have the most trending video that I have on my TikTok. I think it hit 2 mil, but I when that hit 2 mil, I was nowhere near where I am now. Even with that 2 mil video, I didn't blow up just because of that two mil video. I realized that okay, some people find myself funny, some people actually enjoy my content. I have to keep going.
Hmm.
If I stopped right at that 2 mil video, I would, like I said, I wouldn't be where I am with my whole social media thing. But I kept going, and you do have to keep working, even when it's difficult. I mean, I feel like everyone knows that it's kind of even dumb to bring up, but when things aren't going your way, the worst thing you could do is start making excuses and quit.
Yeah, you have to keep going, even especially when it gets tough. That's when you really need to just put your head down and keep going and grind harder.
Right. Actually, I was just thinking about while you were talking about how you have to keep working. You can't just, not everyone's an overnight sensation. Gary Vee was talking to someone that also wanted to do content creation, and he told her, like, if I could have you not censor your followers, censor your viewers, censor your likes, so the person that's the content creator just doesn't see the likes, views, and follows that she's getting,
Hmm.
and post and post and post the content you want to post, she would blow up, because people are so focused on numbers when they're starting out that they don't realize that you will not make it in the industry if your stuff is not interesting and people don't want to watch your stuff.
Yeah, that is so true, and I love that you bring up Gary Vee. I'm a big fan of Gary Vee and love everything that he talks about and teaches. So definitely cool to hear that you're content as well.
He's great. He is. He's great.
Yeah, awesome. So, kind of speaking about blowing up a little bit in social media, I definitely want to ask. So, I can't remember how long ago it was or like what video specifically, but to anyone that's listening who might be into fitness a little bit, you've probably heard the name Sue.
Of course.
Um, yeah, so Russ was in one of Susha's videos. So, how did that come about? And like, did you see like because I know that he plugged your TikTok. Like, did that attraction, or did anything crazy happen after that?
Yeah, yeah. That's I love talking about this because that was such a crazy day. So let me just start from the beginning. So James English, we found out, me and my friends found out that James English and Anthony Mantello and Von Walker were all competing in Jersey, like 2 hours from us.
Okay.
And, dude, we have to go. Like on a Saturday. None of us work on Saturday. None of us have school on a Saturday, obviously. So we're like, we're going. So we pull up over there knowing that there's going to be content creators there. However, Sush actually specifically said on his YouTube channel that he wasn't going to come because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, that's too far. And I remember while I was driving with my friends, we were like all excited because we went to a gym near the hotel where the bodybuilding competition was. And while we were going to that gym, one of my other buds texted me. It's like, "Yo, sushi there." And I was telling my friends, I was like, "Yo, like, what's this idiot texting me? Like, he's definitely not here." He literally said that. And check his social media, like, surprised James. We're like, "Holy shit! Like, all these guys are about to be there." And so yeah, we got there, and I don't remember being like that excited for an event, which is crazy, because just a year before that, where I wasn't even into fitness, I would have came here and be
Yeah.
like, what the hell am I doing here? It's,
Right.
it's crazy how your interests change so quickly. And now I was there being the biggest fanboy, you know. So yeah, so we got there. All the big names were there competing: James English, Anthony Mattel, Vaughn Walker. Um, Jay Lane actually was there too. He's one of the Rise athletes,
Yep.
with absurd legs. Um, yeah, for there we got to see them on stage and such. We also got to see Sush, Grant, LT, and meet all of them. So the whole thing with Sush, where I actually talked with Sush, they were in the back of the hotel room, not the like the big stage where the stage would be, where all
Yeah.
the bodybuilders would be posing, and so they would be like in the very back, sitting. And I was fanboying like crazy. Like between every single time a competitor walk on stage, I was like look back like where the hell are they? And I spotted them after like an hour. Guys compete, and once it was like the older guys, I noticed that Sush and them actually left. So we're like, yo, should we go outside? Like, what if they're just chilling outside? And we go outside, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're literally just like chilling right outside the stage room. And because I guess, I mean, New Jersey has a lot of kids that love fitness, but there were not that many guys our age that were there to see like the YouTube boys, you know, the guys that are older and are
Yeah.
active to look at the competitors, which, of course, I understand that. But when you're a fanboy, it's cool to see like the guys you watch every single day, running when not a lot of fans around them, you know.
Right.
So I started talking to them, and Sush, everyone always asked me after that day. Everyone would always ask me like, "How was Sush? How was James? How are all these guys like in person?" And I'd say Sush was exactly how he he looks on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
this guy is, he's not gonna see this, but he is the literal definition of frat gym bro. Like
Okay.
so frat. And he might have been high, but I'm serious. I think he was high, but I started talking to him, asked him because I really wanted to arm wrestle James English, because that's what James English is known for. I would have got
Yeah.
smacked up, but I was like, "Yo, Sush, can I arm wrestle you? You, I get if I beat you, I get like a young lay piece out of your like bag or something." He's like, "Oh, it's all in release. I can't give you any of it. I'm so sorry, bro." I was like, "No, I understand. I understand." It's like, "Wait, but I still want to like rock paper scissors you or do something." He said,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, bet." Like, but for what? He's like, "Damn, I don't know." So I said, "All right, let me plug my social media, as you see in the video." And he's like, "Yeah, cool." So, I was not nervous at all, and somehow first game, I was like, "Holy shit!" So yeah, plugged it, and like you were asking if I got a lot of traction, I got a lot of people going on my recent on TikTok and YouTube, going here from Susha's vid, here from Susha's vid, a few followers here and there, a few people messaging me with like nice compliments, like I love your stuff, like I saw you from Susha's video, and you're actually like a cool guy, and I like your content. So yeah, some good stuff. Nothing to blow me up, of course. It's just a shout out, a
Yeah.
5 segment of me playing rock paper scissors with him. But it was definitely kind of cool to get all these random messages, just because I
Yeah.
was like in one of my favorite YouTubers' videos. Like how crazy is that, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. It's sad that, it wasn't at the time where, Boulevard are out, or else you could have, rock, paper, scissors for a
Yeah,
pair of boulevards, but, no, that's so sweet, man, and, to anyone listening, that's actually how Russ and I got connected.
right.
I'm also a big fan of Sush, and I saw his video, and I was like, "Man, this kid's pretty cool," like, just, I guess risking a game of rock, paper, scissors for for a shout out, and I was like, "Alright, I respect that," and then that's when I found out, about Russ's accounts and stuff, and gave him a follow, shot him a message, and we've been chopping it up for
Yeah.
however long that's been, probably months or something at this point, and just, getting to know him and see his content, and he's an awesome dude, but that's really cool to hear the full story, and I have no doubt that Sush, like, is exactly how he seems in his videos.
Yeah, like I was talking to Sasha, one of my other friends, gym bro friends, was asking Sasha, my best friend, about like the whole experience, because Sasha was there with us.
Yeah,
About like sushi stuff. And honestly, out of all those guys, he was probably the biggest asshole. But that's just Sush. That's just, I mean, like, you can't expect much out of him, because that's
right.
personality. like we were on like by the stage, and I said something, and he like kind of got pissed off. He's like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here." I was like, "Yo." Like I gotta take it back. I was like, "Yo, my fault, bro. Like I didn't mean
Yeah.
to."
Yeah.
But again, I should know better than to say something that might offend Sush, especially when he's high. So yeah, but again, it was so cool to like actually talk to him and talk to
Yeah.
LP and all the guys that I'd be watching on YouTube and stuff and on Instagram. So yeah, cool. Honestly, one of the coolest experiences ever. Oh, I'm so glad that happened. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Other than the guys that you mentioned and Sush, of course, like, is there any other big people in the fitness industry that kind of got you wanting to start doing it yourself or that you look up to or really enjoy their content?
Yeah. So I think anyone that's listening to this, when you ask that question, most people's head probably lit up with the words David Lade, and
Okay.
I think David Lade is definitely, I'd put him at number one. And
Okay.
not even, like I don't have to, I didn't really have to place anyone at number one, but David Lade, I think, deserves the number one with his content. You could go, I was watching his videos before I actually fitness. He was
Okay.
that entertaining with his stuff, and he's so informational and he's so interesting that before I even started fitness, I was like, God damn, it's sick.
Yeah.
So I feel him, of course, like I guess you could call him more boring personality wise. Like he's a little more dry and less funny as like Sush is, but I feel that he is so interesting, is so well put together and so well made, and he's entertaining and everything, and he's strong, he's aesthetic, he looks great, and between and every fitness, he's always been my number one. Recently, when college soccer started, I've kind of been I stopped watching fitness just because I wasn't as interested in them. I still love working out and stuff, but just the whole YouTube scene hasn't been as me as it
Sure.
has been in the past month. And but David Lade, if he comes out with a tomorrow, I'm watching the video tomorrow, no matter what. He's the guy that I will always go back to with those new videos, deadlift videos, bench, squat, any videos. It's him.
Okay.
Another one is actually gonna be one that not too many people know. Do you know Steph Myers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, love that. I love hearing when people know him, because a month ago he only had like 50K or something on Instagram.
Right.
He's not the biggest. He's also friends, like everyone knows him for being the starter guy for Lex's 405 bench and stuff, which is
Yep.
hilarious. But he's another guy that I've always reached out to. He's cool because he's friends with all those big fitness guys in
Mhm.
social media. However, he was one of the only ones that still respond to DMs, and he was always responding to my DMs, whether it was fitness advice, social media advice, anything. And yeah, he's probably my biggest role model in the fitness industry in terms of social media. I've always using his code for stuff. He's great. He's the funniest guy I've come across. So I say him, David Lade, James, Sush were probably the big four. Maybe Lex too.
Okay.
Here and there. Lex is amazing. There's so many. I could list
Yeah.
all. I don't want to rank all of them, but I will
Right.
say that Steph is. I think Steph will be one of the biggest in the industry very soon. And now that I have said that on the podcast, I can't wait to come back to this when he is.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're calling it right now, and, I think he has a really bright future ahead of him, and everyone you mentioned, phenomenal, content and just
Right.
seems like some really, really cool people for the industry. So I'm with you. I mean, everyone you mentioned, I also like and enjoy their content. So, yeah, no, I think that the fitness future, the industry is in good hands for sure.
Right. I hear a lot of people actually talking about how, oh, the fitness industry is dying out. Oh, these people are getting more and more boring. I do not think it's going anywhere. If some people lose their spark or aren't as interesting anymore, there's others that are gonna come up. Uh,
Hmm.
don't think the fitness industry is going anywhere. And with the people that we have right now that are making it, yes, some of them could be repetitive. When James English is in his little bodybuilding arc and he has to wake up, eat chicken and rice, go to the gym, come home, eat chicken and rice, you're not going to get the most interesting video in the world. But there are some of them will be learning, and some of them are intelligent and will realize that to keep their audience, they have to switch up the content and make it
Yeah.
more. more entertaining. And a great example of that is the Sidemen. Are you familiar with the Sidemen from England?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so they're a prime example. I was actually talking to my dad about this. A lot of big, big YouTube channels in the YouTube industry, just social media in general, entertainment industry, have died out in past years. For example, Joe Sugg, Casper were two guys I always watched. Two British guys that have really funny content. However, their mistake was not changing their content for more mature audiences down
Mhm.
the years, so they would lose their audiences because most of their audience would be like 12, 13 year olds. And when the 12, 13 year olds become 16, 17 year olds, they don't want to watch the same content they were watching when they were 12.
Right.
So these guys, unfortunately, kind of lost. Of course, they still have their subs because the subs would still be subscribed, but they wouldn't have the same fan base they used to have. However,
Right.
Side did it perfectly. They started out hilarious. All the 13, 14-year-olds loved them. And down the line, as these young kids like us grew up, they would make their content more interesting for older audiences, teenagers, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, and stuff like that. So now the kids that were young and grew up still want to watch their stuff. So they are a prime example of how to make it and keep being relevant in the social media industry. And I really hope a lot of these fitness guys can replicate what the Sidemen did. And I think David Lade is one of them because David Lade is doing exactly that.
Yeah, that's really good insight and something that I think that, like, we don't always realize is, like, to stay relevant, if you started posting, uploading content creation at a certain time in your life, like, you've changed and grown from then, so it's like, it only makes sense that, like, your audience
Right.
also has, so it's like you have to cater to that a bit, like, obviously don't, like, be fake or anything, but,
Mhm.
like, you have to adapt and grow and change as your life changes and you mature and change perspectives or views or things that you do, as well as, like, the audience is probably going through the same thing, so definitely to stay relevant, that's a good piece of advice.
Right. And that's why I always advise people that if you want to start something in the fitness industry, start a TikTok or something. Yes, you could post your physique and stuff like that, but you got to do something that will entertain the viewers, the audience, because 5 months from now, people aren't going to be watching your video the same as they were five months ago. So you got to change up your stuff. You don't have to do a 360 with your content, but it's very switch it up. And as years go by, you want to make it more mature. And if that does happen, if you're still relevant in social media 1, 2, 3 years down the line, you better have switched up your content by then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Awesome. So, Russ, one of the last things that I want to ask you, kind of switching gears a little bit, we talked about some of the big, bodybuilders and fitness influencers that are kind of blowing up and some of the best in the industry. So, switching gears a little bit to soccer, who I have to ask, who's the best soccer player to have played?
Of all time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Leo Messi. To
Okay. Okay.
what's your opinion?
It's tough. I mean, like, I love Messi. Like, it's hard to say that there's anyone better than him. I'm a little biased, and I guess like my first introduction to soccer was Ronaldo.
Okay.
So there's always that place in my heart where I'm like, yeah, no, Ronaldo's the greatest. But yeah, I probably have
Yeah.
to say Messi.
That will always be. I mean, even if you say Ronaldo, if you said someone completely different, I would have nothing against them. It's crazy that there are people that are so defensive about the greats. There's
Yeah.
always people that are obsessed. If you disagree with them, it's crazy. It's so toxic sometimes. But just growing up and watching Messi and Ronaldo, both of them in real life, play in real life, uh,
Okay.
both and unbelievable. Honestly, there's so many other greats. Ronaldinho is one that
Mm-hmm.
when I grew up, I didn't watch him too much, but watching highlights, I'm just like, geez, like this guy was insane. There's so many great soccer players, but with the natural talent and everything he has done, uh, I want to say club and country. However, for country, he hasn't had the best of luck with the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that eh, both of them are amazing. Both Messi and Ronaldo are amazing, but I loved watching Messi growing up so much.
Yeah.
Like I can't say otherwise.
That's fair. And I mean, hey, at the end of the day, at least we can both agree to support Chelsea, right?
Yes, agree. We'll always agree.
Awesome. I love it. Perfect. Well, Russ, anyone that's listening to the podcast and wants to check out your, your content creation, your fitness, accounts and everything, or check out your business and maybe even purchase one of your products, like
Right.
what's the best place to get connected with you to check out your content? Like, do you have any socials that you want to post or drop or the website?
Yeah, I never miss a DM ever. I might respond a day or two late if I don't check that social media. Like if I'm not on my Russ Lifts Instagram for a day, I might respond a day after. But Russ Lifts, which is on my Instagram, it's literally just Russ.lifts. I will always respond to DMs on there. I have my personal, which is REUSLAN. That's my personal Instagram, but like that's not exactly where I'd go if I want like fitness related questions answered. Uh,
Sure.
yeah, so best way to get in contact with me would be Russ.lifts on Instagram, I'd say. TikTok DMs don't exactly work unless I'm following you. Um, well, YouTube, again, you can't really message me on there unless you're commenting, but I will almost always see your comment or message or anything like that. And if I do not respond, I probably don't want to answer you. I'm kidding, but like, but I will almost always answer you. So yeah,
Okay.
lifts. If anyone has any questions about anything, if you want to buy one of my products or are interested in anything business related or want to talk about that, happy to help.
Perfect. And website is going to be Sleek Supplies, right?
Sleek dash supplies. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. And then YouTube and TikTok, is that also like Russ lifts or are
Yeah,
those different?
so Instagram's gonna be Russ.lifts. TikTok's Russ lifts without the dot, and YouTube's the same thing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and to anyone listening, I'll put all of Russ's socials and website and stuff in the description of the episode. So if you didn't catch us talking about it, you can always go down there, check out his content. Definitely, hit him up with some questions about fitness, questions about business. Just say what's up, say that you heard him on the podcast. Whatever you want to do. He's a great guy to connect with. So definitely, probably Instagram's your best bet on that. And then also, if you just want to see some entertaining TikTok videos, entertaining YouTube uploads, anything like that. Those links will be there as well. And then, the website, if you want to see some cool products and support, an awesome person's business and passion, definitely check out the website as well.
Thank you so much, Zach. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
of
Been a
course. It's
This is gonna be. I really hope you keep doing this, like we were talking about. I do understand if there's gonna be some obstacles on the road, whatever it is, schools, work, anything like that. But I do hope you keep doing this because you are a very good podcast host, and like this was such a smooth podcast. Like I didn't have to worry about your questions or any pauses or anything. You do this very very well, and I'm sure you already done this for a few podcast episodes, and you're gaining experience. Maybe that's why you're so good at it by now. But keep doing it, man. This was great.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate all the kind words and support and just having you on and being able to chat with you. And I'm sure, we'll probably circle back sometime in the future, do a part two, have some updates from you on your end with everything. But no,
For
it's been a pleasure. Last thing that I have to ask you is, do you have any last thoughts, message, words, advice to anyone that's listening to us today?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I would. I mean, keep going with your passion. I mean, it really is that simple. Everyone keeps preaching that same thing, but if you want to live a life of happiness, do shit that you want to do. Like I understand that that could be difficult for some people because you want to make money, you want to be focused on stuff that your parents are telling you to be focused on, and of course you have to listen to your parents, but you have to talk to your parents and you have to mature and realize that if you're willing to take risks and do stuff you enjoy, that will be your best bet in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Life's too short to not do what you love and to just be miserable. So do the things you love, take risks, and the right people will support you. And if you work hard enough, you'll see the success, accomplishments, or you'll see the results that you're looking for.
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, Russ, thanks so much again for your time today and for jumping on. And I'm sure you and I will be talking soon.
Sounds good. Of course. Thank you for having me, Zach.
Of course. Take care, man.
All right. Take care, bro.